There are two reasons you can't understand English movies without subtitles. First, natives use connected speech, which sounds fast compared to classroom English. Second, natives use phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions way more than standard vocabulary. It's not that your English is bad, it's that you're not used to the style of English used in movies and on TV. Let's talk about the solution. To solve problem 1, you need to train your ear to understand connected speech. To solve problem 2, you need to expand your vocabulary with real-world English. The best part is that you can solve both of these problems at the same time by watching movies and TV. But don't make this mistake. Don't try to watch an entire episode or an entire movie. That's not the correct way to solve the problem. The correct way is by taking a short clip from that movie or TV show. Listen to the clip and test your listening skills. Understand the connected speech used in that clip. Study the connected speech and shadow it. Learn the real-world vocabulary used in that clip. When you learn the meaning of the vocabulary, you can learn the correct grammar at the same time. Do this for 5 to 15 minutes per day, and in a few months, you won't need subtitles. Let's stop talking about the solution and let's practice it. You'll listen to real English and you'll test your listening skills. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our first listening exercise, you need to complete the sentence. I'll play it 3 times.
Whatever she dishes out, you can give it right back double. Whatever she dishes out, you can give it right back double. Whatever she dishes out, you can give it right back double.
How'd you do with this one? Whatever she dishes out. Our phrasal verb is to dish out. Now let's review how to use this phrasal verb. To dish out. This simply means to criticize. So when you criticize someone or something, you say something negative about it. For example, she really dished it out to Tom at the meeting. She really criticized Tom at the meeting. Now notice I said dished it out. What's the it? The it represents the criticism. She dished out the criticism. She dished it out to Tom. And we always use this expression with criticism, so you don't need to specify that it. I'm sharing this phrasal verb with you because we have a very common expression in English. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. You can dish it out, which means you freely give criticism to others, but you can't take it. Which means if somebody tries to criticize you, you do not accept that, you become very upset or very angry. So if someone is being very critical, you might say, well, you can dish it out, but can you take it? Can you receive the criticism that you're giving? It's a way to remind someone that maybe you shouldn't criticize others. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Amazing job. Now pay close attention because at the end of this lesson, I'm going to quiz you to make sure you really know how to use these phrasal verbs. Let's do this listening exercise again. Here's your sentence, and you need to complete the sentence. I'll play it 3 times.
We're all just muddling through, aren't we? We're all just muddling through, aren't we? We're all just muddling through, aren't we?
How'd you do with this one? We're all just muddling through. Let's learn how to use to muddle through. This is when you do or achieve something accidentally without a specific plan. For example, I muddled through making the cake. So maybe I had no idea how to make this cake. I didn't know the procedure. I didn't feel prepared. I muddled through making the cake, but it was actually quite delicious. So sometimes when you muddle through something, the result isn't very positive because you don't actually have a plan. Other times, it can be positive in the end. Amazing job. Number 3. Here's your sentence. You need to complete the sentence. I'll play it 3 times.
I'm excited to nerd out on it. I'm excited to nerd out on it. I'm excited to nerd out on it.
He's excited to nerd out on. This is a fun phrasal verb. Let's learn how to use it. To nerd out. Oh, I love this one. When you nerd out on something, it means you discuss it in great detail. Greater detail than the average person would normally do. For example, I can nerd out on sentence structure all day. I can discuss sentence structure, English sentence structure all day. But my friends who are native English speakers have no interest in discussing English sentence structure. To them, that is boring. But to me as an English teacher, and most likely to you as an English learner, we can nerd out on the English language all day. I can also nerd out on plants, talking about plants, different types of plants, looking at plants. I really love plants as well, but the average person probably doesn't want to discuss it in as much detail as I do. What about you? What's something that you could nerd out on? Nerd out on this specific topic all day. Share that in the comments. Number 4, complete the sentence. I'll play it 3 times.
Of course I'll stick around. Of course I'll stick around. Of course I'll stick around.
Of course, I'll stick around. Let's learn how to use this. To stick around. This is a very common phrasal verb, and it simply means to remain in a place for a period of time. Let's say you just finished dinner with a friend at a restaurant and you drove, but your friend took the bus. So you can just get in your car and leave, but your friend has to wait until the bus comes. So you could say, oh, don't worry, I'll stick around until the bus comes. I'll stay with you at this specific location, the restaurant or the bus stop, until the bus comes. Or let's say you're in the mall and it's raining outside. You might say, well, let's just stick around until it stops raining. So let's stay at this specific location until it stops raining. You'll absolutely use this in your daily speech and hear native speakers using this one all the time. Number 5, I'll play it 3 times.
Wash up for dinner, guys. Wash up for dinner, guys. Wash up for dinner, guys.
Did you get this one? Wash up for dinner. Let's review this phrasal verb. To wash up. This simply means to clean your hands, to wash your hands, and or to wash your face. So before dinner, you could say, oh, I just need to wash up. and most likely you're going to wash your hands. And I commonly say this in the evening before I watch a movie. I could say to my husband, oh, just give me 5 minutes to wash up before we start the movie. And for me, it's to wash my face because I love taking off my makeup before I watch a movie. It's a lot more comfortable. So women might use the wash up for our face more frequently. So it can be for both hands and face. Number 6, here's your sentence. Let's see if you can complete it. I'll play it 3 times.
Now make sure if you leave, you lock up the house. Now make sure if you leave, you lock up the house. Now make sure if you leave, you lock up the house.
How'd you do with this one? Now make sure if you leave, you lock up the house. Very good advice. Let's review this one. To lock up. This is when you securely close your windows and doors or entrances to your house or building. So it's another way of simply saying lock. For example, make sure you lock up before bed. And in that case, it's in your home, and that's of course good advice. But if you work in a building, someone is likely responsible for locking up at the end of the workday. So one person might be responsible for making sure that all the entrances to that building are securely closed or locked. So for example, Sally is responsible for locking up. Number 7, we're going to review one of my favorite TV shows, Parks and Rec. Let's see if you can complete this sentence.
And while he was yammering on about whatever. And while he was yammering on about whatever. And while he was yammering on about whatever.
How'd you do with this one? And while he was yammering on. Let's review this. To yammer on. This is when you talk continuously in an annoying way. For example, I ran into Kate at the mall and she yammered on for hours and I missed my bus. So I ran into Kate. I saw Kate, but I wasn't expecting to see her. I saw her accidentally. I ran into Kate at the mall and she yammered on, oh, hi, Jennifer. I'd love to tell you about my vacation. And then 10 minutes later, she's still talking about her vacation and she doesn't realize that I'm not that interested in her vacation, or I'm just busy and need to leave. To yammer on. Number 8, they've been, let's listen 3 times.
They've been mouthing off to me. They've been mouthing off to me. They've been mouthing off to me.
Did you get this one? They've been mouthing off to me. Oh no. Let's review this one. To mouth off. When you mouth off to someone, you speak to that person in a disrespectful way or in an angry way. So this is something that kids, especially teenagers, do to their parents. And when I was a teenager, if I mouthed off to my parents, I would be grounded. When you're grounded, this means that certain privileges are taken away from you. So if you're grounded, maybe you can't go to the movies with your friends, you can't use the car, you can't use the computer, privileges you would normally have in the house.
You're grounded.
You're grounded.
And as adults, we also don't want to mouth off to certain people like our boss, or an authority figure like a police officer. Is definitely not a good idea to mouth off. Number 9, yeah, but I. Let's listen 3 times.
Yeah, but I maxed out my credit card. Yeah, but I maxed out my credit card. Yeah, but I maxed out my credit card.
Did you get this one? Yeah, but I maxed out my credit card. Uh-oh. Let's review this. To max out. When you max something out, it means you take that something to a limit. For example, I maxed out my credit cards on vacation. So your credit card has a limit, maybe $10,000. If you maxed out that credit card, it means that you spent $10,000, the maximum amount, the limit of that credit card. Likely not the best idea. And finally, number 10, this is a fun one. Let's listen 3 times.
I'm loading up on carbs. I'm loading up on carbs. I'm loading up on carbs.
How'd you do? I'm loading up on carbs. Let's learn how to use this. To load up on. When you load up on something, it means you consume a lot of that something, or you purchase a lot of that something for a specific purpose. So let's say you're an athlete. Right before a race or a competition, you might load up on carbs. Carbs are carbohydrates, energy for your body, so you want to consume a lot of carbs. Jim loaded up on carbs before the race. Or you could say we loaded up on toilet paper because it was on sale. So we purchased a large amount of toilet paper because it was on sale. So now you have 10 new phrasal verbs, plus you've improved your listening skills of real English. So are you ready for your quiz? Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready for the answers, hit play. How'd you do with that quiz? Let's find out. Here are the answers. Hit pause, review them, and when you're ready, hit play. Amazing job. You're already giving your ear what you need. Now let's make this more advanced. You'll listen to longer clips with more advanced vocabulary, and you'll only listen to each clip twice. Are you ready for the first clip? Remember, you need to fill in the missing words.
It's worth mentioning we're going to have to be pretty frank about the human body and some of the more icky parts when studying outbreaks. It's worth mentioning we're going to have to be pretty frank about the human body and some of the more icky parts when studying outbreaks.
How'd you do with this one? She said it's worth mentioning we're going to have to be pretty frank about the human body and some of the more icky parts when studying outbreaks. Did you get that? Let's review the pronunciation. So notice were. Native speakers like using contractions, and we pronounce them in an unstressed way. Were. This is, of course, we are. Now she said going to, but as you may know, native speakers commonly reduce going to as gonna, but this is in spoken English only. Now, native speakers also combine sounds together. So here we have some of the. Instead of saying of, you can just do an unstressed some of the. So it sounds like one word. Repeat after me. Some of the. Let's talk about some grammar and vocabulary. Notice one of your missing words was mentioning, and that's because to be worth plus gerund verb. So I wanted to remind you, or perhaps help you learn, that you need the gerund with this expression. So worth is a gerund verb. To be worth doing something. For example, it's worth to be. It is as a contraction. It's worth subscribing to JForrest English. Now, if a friend asks you, should I subscribe to JForrest English? You can say, yes, it's worth it. It's worth it. What's the it? It's worth subscribing. So it represents the gerund. It's worth subscribing. And if you want to sound like a native, you can add totally. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. Do you agree with that? If you do, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. Let's talk about to be frank. Frank. This means to speak honestly, directly, or openly, often about something uncomfortable. We often use this to start a sentence. To be frank, I thought you were rude to your mother. So that might be something that's uncomfortable to tell someone. And she used pretty to be pretty frank. This is simply an intensifier. Now, did you hear the word icky? Icky? This is an informal way of something as unpleasant, gross, or distasteful. Cleaning the bathroom, ugh, it's so icky. Wouldn't you agree? Or you could say, you have some icky stuff on your shirt, some gross stuff. Are you ready for your next listening exercise? Remember, you need to complete the missing words. You'll hear it twice.
I've level with you. Before we started making this movie, I'd never been on a pair of skis in my life. I've level with you. Before we started making this movie, I'd never been on a pair of skis in my life.
Could you complete the missing words? I've got to level with you. Before we started making this movie, I'd never been on a pair of skis in my life. Just like going to becomes gonna, got to becomes gotta in spoken English. And again, those contractions which are difficult to hear, I had, a very soft D, I'd. Now, instead of saying of, you can reduce that to just simply but then combine them together. Paraskis. Now let's talk about those missing words. To level with someone. This means to share a surprising or harsh truth. A harsh truth is an uncomfortable truth. So you can say, I have to level with you. I don't like ice cream. Now, Americans commonly say, I gotta level with you. I gotta level with you. I have to level with you. I gotta level with you. They're the same thing. And the fact that I don't like ice cream could be a surprising truth. I gotta level with you. Or you can say, I have to level with you. I gotta level with you. Your performance has been slipping, going down, slipping. So this is a harsh truth. It's honest and direct. Because of that, you can also use that expression we learned, to be frank. I have to be frank with you. Your performance has been slipping. Here's your next listening exercise. You'll hear it twice.
I think a lot of people will reflect on their previous year and think, you know what is the one thing I want to work on? I think a lot of people will reflect on their previous year and think, you know what is the one thing I want to work on?
How'd you do with this one? Was it easy or difficult for you? I think a lot of people will reflect on their previous year and think, you know what? What is the one thing I want to work on? Let's talk about those pronunciation changes. A lot of becomes a lotta. Now, reflect on, because you have that T sound, you can transfer it to the next sound and say reflect on. So it sounds like one word. You can do this with work on. So it sounds like one word. You know what may have been difficult to hear because it becomes unstressed. Yeah, you know what? And want to becomes wanna. Now I wanted you to pay attention to reflect on and work on so you notice those prepositions. When you're learning vocabulary, you should also learn the preposition that completes the verb, because if you get the preposition wrong, it won't sound correct. So to reflect on something, this means to think deeply or carefully about something, usually before making decisions. For example, after the meeting, I reflected on the feedback my boss gave me. Maybe he had to level with you. Maybe he had to give you some frank feedback, honest and direct, and you reflected on that, which is a mature thing to do. Let's talk about, you know what? You know what? This is an interjection. So it's used to introduce a thought, or it's simply to create a pause in a conversation. So you can say, we should host a party for your sister's birthday, but that might sound very abrupt. So if you want to transition or create a pause, introduce an idea, you can use an interjection. You know what? We should host a party for your sister's birthday. So by saying, you know what? You get someone's attention and then they're ready to hear your idea. Get ready for the next listening exercise. You'll hear it twice.
Watch this video and get the scoop on a little-known storytelling technique that'll crank up the believability of your message. Watch this video and get the scoop on a little-known storytelling technique that'll crank up the believability of your message.
Was this more difficult for you? Watch this video and get the scoop on a little-known storytelling technique that'll crank up the believability of your message. Instead of saying scoop on a with pauses, you can pronounce this as one word. Scoop on a, scoop on a, scoop on a, scoop on a. Little may have been difficult to hear because that's not how native speakers say it. We say little, little. That'll is a contraction of that will, that'll. Let's review the vocabulary. The scoop, do you know this one? This means insider information or the latest secret or exclusive details. Can you get the scoop on who's getting the promotion? So I'm asking you to get the exclusive information or the latest secret details. Or I could ask what? What's the scoop on the promotion? Do you know the latest details? Or I could say, who knows the scoop on the promotion? So who has the secret or latest details? What if I said to you, ooh, it's cold in here. Crank up the heat. What would you do to the heat? Or how about, I love this song. Crank it up. Crank it up. What would you do? To crank up means to increase the intensity, volume, or level of something. Now in this case, the something was the believability, which is a noun. And this is the quality or state of being believable, which is the adjective. So to be believable. I could say to my friend, you didn't win the lottery? You were so believable. I believed my friend because she's believable. Or I could say, to be frank, the story lacked believability. So it lacked the quality of being believable. Or I could say, I have to level with you. I gotta level with you. The story lacked believability. So look for ways you can mix and match all the vocabulary that you're learning. One more listening exercise, you'll hear it twice.
All right, we've been planning for months. Let's do it. It's go time. All right, we've been planning for months. Let's do it. It's go time.
Did you get that first word? All right. We've been planning for months. Let's do it. It's go time. Now you may not have heard that first word again because of reducing sounds. So instead of saying all right, native speakers commonly say all right, all right, all right. So it can be very unstressed or a little bit unstressed. It depends on the speaker. This one was quite unstressed. We've is of course we have. For sounds like fur, very unstressed. And do it, to get rid of that pause, you can add a very soft w. Do it, do it, do it. But when you say it as one word, you don't hear it. Do it, do it. Do it. All right is used as both an interjection or confirmation. So if someone says, let's meet at 2 to discuss the project, you can say, all right, to confirm. Or you can start the discussion by saying, all right, let's review the sales reports. So in this case, it's an interjection. It gets attention and it signals readiness to start. Let's look at let's do it. I say this a lot, so maybe you've heard it from me. This is an informal way to signal readiness to act. I could say, today you'll learn 20 phrasal verbs. Are you ready? And you can reply back and say, let's do it, Jennifer. Or your friend could ask you, should we sign up for that cooking class? And you say, let's do it, let's do it. Let's look at it's go time. I love this one. This is an informal way to say, now is the time to act. This is the moment we've been waiting for. And it's commonly used with a lot of energy and excitement. So you can imagine before a sports game or a big presentation, someone says, it's go time. You are doing such a great job. Remember, this is an exercise you repeat again and again. Now let's do something different. Instead of a clip, I'll say a real world sentence and I'll say it 3 times. You need to write down what you hear. So you need to understand the entire sentence, not just a missing word. After, you'll learn the connected speech I used and the natural vocabulary that may be new to you. I can't believe she sprung that on me. I can't believe she sprung that on me. I can't believe she sprung that on me. I said, I can't believe she sprung that on me. For this listening exercise, I don't think the pronunciation is difficult to understand, but you have to know this expression and understand what this expression means. So the expression I used is to spring something on someone. I can't believe she sprung. Sprung is the past simple of the verb spring. To spring, sprung. She sprung that is the something, on me. When you spring something on someone, you suddenly ask or tell someone something that they weren't expecting. So let's say there is a presentation taking place 1 hour from right now. And my coworker was supposed to do this presentation. But just now, 1 hour before the presentation, my boss says, oh, by the way, Jennifer, I want you to do the presentation. In 1 hour. And I'm not prepared for this at all. I wasn't expecting it. Then I can say, I can't believe she sprung that on me. And that represents that I have to give the presentation in 1 hour. Our next listening test, I'll say it 3 times. It's supposed to rain on and off today. It's supposed to rain on and off today. It's supposed to rain on and off today. I said, it's supposed to rain on and off today. First, let's talk about pronunciation. Here we have a contraction, it's. It's supposed to. It's as a contraction represents it is. It's supposed to. Now notice here, supposed to. Suppose is spelled with an ED. It's an ED verb, but you don't hear it at all. It's supposed to. Supposed to. Supposed to. But it's always spelled with an ED verb when the expression is to be supposed to. Now, many students forget the verb to be in this expression. Don't forget the verb to be. It's grammatically incorrect. It is supposed to. I was supposed to. She is supposed to. We are supposed to. Don't forget that verb to be and conjugate your verb to be. It's supposed to rain on and off. On and off. Notice here, the and, you don't hear it at all. It sounds just like a on, off, on, off, on, off. And then you combine that together, on and off, on and off. It's supposed to rain on and off today. When something happens on and off, it means it only happens some of the time of a total time. So in our expression, the total time is today. But if I say it's supposed to rain on and off today, I know that it is not going to rain the total time, but it is going to rain some of the time. And I don't know when it's going to rain. So it might rain for 1 hour, stop for 3 hours, rain for 2 hours, stop for 1 hour, rain for 2 hours, and then stop again. That would be on and off. We commonly use this expression with rain because rain frequently happens on and off. It doesn't happen for the total time of a timeline. But we can also use this expression for other activities as well. For example, I worked as a waitress on and off when I was a student. So I have the total time I was a student, 4 years. And I worked as a waitress. But if I say on and off, it means that I did not work as a waitress the entire time I was a student, so 4 years. Perhaps I worked for 4 months during the summer, and then I didn't work. I focused on school, and then maybe I worked for 2 months, and then I stopped. I worked again for 6 months, and then I stopped. I worked as a waitress on and off. Our next listening test, I'll say it 3 times. I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. I said, I got the gist of it. Here, let's talk about how gist of it, the sounds are combined. The sounds are linked together. And this sounds like gist of it. So I take the last sound on a word and I transfer it to the next sound to help me combine the sounds together. Gist of it, gist of it, gist of it. I got the gist of it. What does this mean? Well, the gist of something is the main idea of something. So if you say, I got the gist of it, here the verb get means understand. I understand, or in the past, I understood the main idea of it. But when you say, I get the gist of it, or I got the gist of it, you're letting the person know that you understand the main idea, but you don't necessarily understand all the smaller details or all the details. You just understand the main idea. For example, her lecture was complicated, but I got the gist of it. So perhaps you're learning something new, and for you, it's complicated. For me, something complicated would be to do with math or science. So if I went to a physics lecture or a quantum mechanics lecture, maybe I understand the overall idea of the lecture, but I don't really understand all the small details. I just have an overall understanding of the main idea. I got the gist of it. Are you ready for your next listening exercise? I'll say it 3 times. Just a heads up that I'm running late. Just a heads up that I'm running late. Just a heads up that I'm running late. I said, just a heads up that I'm running late. For pronunciation, let's talk about heads up, how it combines and links together. Heads up, heads up. So notice that S on heads, when I combine it with my vowel sound in up, I use a z, z to combine that together, and it sounds like one word. Heads up, heads up, heads up. Just a heads up that I'm running late. When you give someone a heads up, so the expression just a heads up, this is used to give someone advanced warning of something. So I'm letting the person know in advance that I'm going to be late, and you use the expression heads up to identify that you're giving a warning. And the expression to run late, this is what native speakers use when we're late. So to be late, we're going to be late, you can use run late. And we commonly use this in the present continuous. I'm running late. Right now, I'm running late, which means I am late, and therefore I'm going to be late for my next appointment, which is likely with you, and that's why I'm giving you a heads up. A native speaker would commonly send a quick text message to a coworker or their boss and say, heads up, running late, stuck in traffic. So I say heads up, letting you know it's advanced warning. Running late, this is just the essential information, running late. And then stuck in traffic, that's the reason why I'm running late. And now you know I'm not going to be at our scheduled meeting because I'm running late. Are you ready for your last listening exercise? I'll say it 3 times. Here's my quick take on it. Here's my quick take on it. Here's my quick take on it. I said, here's my quick take on it. Let's talk about how the sounds combine for the 3 words, take on it. And it sounds like one word, take on it. Take-on it. But you have to combine those sounds together. Take on it, take on it. So that's how we transfer sounds. We link the sounds together so 3 individual words can sound like one word. Take on it. Here's my quick take on it. Now, one's take on something, my take on it. This is simply one's opinion or idea on something specific. This is commonly used to ask someone's opinion when you're discussing something specific. For example, what's your take on the company's decision to pay for language classes? So let's say your company decided to pay for your language classes. That's amazing, right? So that's the it. What's your take on it? The it is the company's decision to pay for language classes. What's your take on it? I'm asking you, what's your opinion on this initiative? To answer, you can simply state your opinion. I think it's an amazing idea. So now I want you to practice pronunciation so you can really get comfortable with moving your mouth and producing these sounds at a faster pace. So let's do an imitation exercise. I am going to say each sentence again 3 times, and I want you to repeat it out loud and try to get your pronunciation as close to mine as possible. I can't believe she sprung that on me. I can't believe she sprung that on me. I can't believe she sprung that on me. It's supposed to rain on and off today. It's supposed to rain on and off today. It's supposed to rain on and off today. I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it. Just a heads up that I'm running late. Just a heads up that I'm running late. Just a heads up that I'm running late. Here's my quick take on it. Here's my quick take on it. Here's my quick take on it. So did you enjoy those listening tests? How about we keep going and I'm going to test you 5 more times. Are you ready for that? Let's do it. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. I said, looks like we're back to square one. Did you get that one? Let's talk about the pronunciation changes. Notice the contraction, were. This is we are as a contraction, were. Now, notice how unstressed my pronunciation is. It sounds like were, not we're, were. This is how native speakers say it at a natural pace. We're back, we're back, we're back. We're back to, this sounds like t in real English, t. We're back to square one. We're back to square one. Now, what does this mean? To be back to square one. Well, square one on a board game is the beginning of a board game. So when you're back to square one, it means you're back to the beginning. And you're back to the beginning, the start, because you tried something and it didn't work. So you had a failed attempt and you have to try again. Looks like we're back to square one. It looks like we have to start again from the beginning because our first attempt failed. Our next listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I said, I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. First, let's talk about don't know. At a natural pace, this sounds like don't know, I don't know, I don't know, don't know, I don't know. I don't know if we can, notice here, we can trust. When can is the auxiliary verb, so it's not the main verb, we reduce this to kin, and it's very unstressed sound. I don't know if we can trust, if we can trust. And notice you hear trust more because it's the main verb, and can, which sounds like kin, is very short, can trust, can trust. I don't know if we can trust her. Now, here we can get rid of that H sound and it just sounds like trust her. But then you combine it to the word before, trust her, trust her, trust her. I don't know if we can trust her. This is a contraction for she is, she's pretty wishy-washy. What does wishy-washy mean? To be wishy-washy, this is when you have no clear or consistent ideas or decisions. We generally use this as an adjective to describe someone who changes their mind, changes the decision that they make frequently. So that's why you don't know if you can trust her, because she says she's going to come to your party or help you move, but because she's wishy-washy, tomorrow she might change her mind and say, oh, actually, I'm not coming to the party, or I'm not going to help you move. But then maybe the next day she changes her mind again and she does come to your party. She's wishy-washy. I don't know if I can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. Our next listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. I said, you got to give him props. He's a real trooper. You got to sounds like gotta. You gotta give him. Same thing we saw with her. Get rid of the H and it will sound like im. But you can combine it to the word before. Give 'em, give 'em, give 'em. You gotta give 'em props. This is a contraction. He's a real trooper. Now, what does this mean? To give someone props, this is when you give someone respect, credit, or recognition. So let's say a coworker of yours gets a really big client. Well, if you want to give your coworker credit or recognition, you could say, oh, we gotta give him props. And then you can celebrate his big achievement. Let's talk about he's a real trooper. When you describe someone as a trooper to be a trooper, this is someone who perseveres through hardship or difficulty. So they persevere, they keep going, they don't give up, they don't quit, they persevere. And this is why you gotta give him props, because he didn't quit, even though it was difficult, because he's a real trooper. Our next listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. I said our successes and failures were writ large. Notice our. I did not pronounce this as our. I said R. A very reduced sound. R. Our successes. Our successes. Our successes and failures. Here, and, when and comes between 2 nouns or even 2 verbs, we reduce it to Our successes and failures. Coffee and tea, successes and failures. Our successes and failures were writ. Did you spell this starting with a R or with a W? The W is silent, just like in the word write. The W is silent. But in spelling, it's there. In pronunciation, it isn't. Writ large. What does writ large mean? This is an adjective that simply means to be very obvious. So our successes and failures were very obvious. Why is that? Perhaps we work for a public company, and when we fail, the general public knows we failed. But also when we succeed, the general public knows we succeeded because our successes and failures are writ large. They're very obvious. Are you ready for your last listening exercise? I'll say it 3 times. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. I said, with a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. Did you hear that contraction? It'll. It will sounds like it'll. It's a very soft sound. It's easy to miss that will. It'll be. But without it, the sentence wouldn't be grammatically correct. If I said it be, that isn't correct. It will be. It'll be. It'll be good to go. Just like we saw before, to is a reduced sound, an unstressed sound, to. Good to go, to go, good to go. What does this mean? With a few tweaks, tweaks are changes, small changes. So let's say you're writing a report and your boss or coworker wants you to remove this section and add this information. That would be a tweak. you need to make a small change, a tweak. With a few tweaks, with a few changes, it'll be good to go. When something is good to go, it means it's ready. And we use this in two contexts, ready to leave or ready to start doing something. So let's say you and your friend are going to the movies. Your friend could text you and say, good to go? Are you ready to leave? And in this case, it could be, are you ready to leave your house to meet me at the movies? Good to go? Good to go? We use this a lot as native speakers. In this context, it'll be good to go. Something can also be good to go in the context of it's ready to start doing something. For example, the new website will be good to go on Monday, which means the new website will be ready to start doing something, ready to start receiving visitors, ready to be available to the public. The new website will be good to go on Monday. Now, the new website as a subject is it. So if you already know you're talking about the website, you can say it'll be good to go. Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice these natural pronunciation changes and practice these new expressions. I'll say each sentence again 3 times in a row, and I want you to imitate my pronunciation. Try to say it just like me, get all those pronunciation changes. And I want you to say this out loud. So you can do this as many times as you'd like to practice. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. You are doing an amazing job, but the more you practice, the more you'll improve and the faster you'll improve. So how about we do this one more time? We'll do one more set of 5 listening exercises. Are you ready? Here we go. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. I said, cut her some slack. She's a newbie. Did you get that? Do you know what this means? First, let's talk about the pronunciation changes. Her, him, and them, we often shorten these. So her, I get rid of the H sound and it sounds like But then I combine it to the word before, cutter, 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 cut her some slack. She's, this is a contraction. Native speakers use contractions all the time in spoken English. She's represents she is. She is a newbie. She's a newbie. Now, do you know what this means? To cut someone some slack, this is an expression. And it's when you punish someone less severely than you normally would. And a newbie, this is a new employee. A new employee or even a new member to a group, you can refer to that person as a newbie, a newbie. So it makes sense that you might cut a newbie some slack. You might be less severe with that person because they're new, they're still learning, they're still training. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. Our second listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. Give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. Give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. Give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. I said, give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. Give me, we reduce these to sound like gimme, 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 gimme 20. 20 here means 20 minutes. Commonly, we drop the minutes when it's obvious. Call me in 5 instead of call me in 5 minutes. Give me 20. Give me 20 minutes. Give me 20 to whip up. Whip up is a phrasal verb. For the pronunciation, notice is whip up, whip up, whip up, because of linking, whip up. Whip up means to prepare something quickly. We specifically use this in a cooking context. Whip up some appies. What are appies? Well, I just said that we use the phrasal verb whip up in a cooking culinary context. What does appies sound like? Anything you can think of? Appetizers. Appetizers. Native speakers, we love shortening words. So we take the word appetizer and we shorten it to appy. Appy. Because it's plural in my example, appies, appies. Another common shortened word is simply apps. So you could say, give me 20 to whip up some apps or whip up some appies. Both are commonly used. Are you ready for your next listening exercise? She's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. She's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. She's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. I said, she's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. For pronunciation, notice she's got. Here, the contraction is she has. She has got. I know this because grammatically it isn't correct to say she is got. It's she has got. She's got. She's got some nerve. What does that mean? To have some nerve is an expression to say, how dare she? She has some audacity. So you're criticizing her behavior to say that she has no right to do something. She's got some nerve. Now, what does she have no right to do? Well, is sauntering in 30 minutes late. To understand this, you need to know what saunter in means. When you saunter, it means you walk in a very relaxed, casual, unhurried way. To saunter. In here means into the office, into the room, into the meeting. She sauntered in 30 minutes late. So basically, she came to the meeting 30 minutes late. And when she came, she was so relaxed and she didn't show any sense of urgency, even though she was 30 minutes late. She's got some nerve doing that. Our next listening exercise, I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. I said, I got to hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. Did you get this one? Got to is pronounced gotta. I gotta. Hand it. Notice the linking here. Hand it. Did. I gotta hand it. Now, I said to you, but native speakers will frequently reduce both of these and say to, ya, or ya. To ya, to ya. Gotta hand it to ya, to ya. but I believe I said to you. I gotta hand it to you. I gotta hand it to you. You'd is a contraction. The D stands for would. You would, you'd. It's difficult to hear that D because it's very soft, but grammatically it's important that it's there. You'd pull it off. Notice the linking, pull it, pull it off. When you hand it to someone, it means that you recognize that someone deserves praise or respect. So by saying, I gotta hand it to you, means I have to acknowledge that your actions deserve praise or respect. And why am I doing this? Because the person pulled something off. When you pull something off, it means you achieve something difficult. You succeed at doing something difficult. So that's why this person deserves praise. I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off, but you did. Our last listening exercise. I've gotta have a little me time. I've gotta have a little me time. I've gotta have a little me time. I said, I've got to have a little me time. Here, notice we have the same gotta reduction, got to, gotta. This time I said I've. I have as a contraction, I've gotta. I've gotta have a little will sound like lil, a little me time. Now, what is me time? Me time is simply personal time. It's time when you can do whatever you want to do. It's your personal time. So of course, I've got to have a little me time. I must have some time for me to do whatever I want to do. Personal time, me time. Now let's do some imitation practice to make sure that you practice this natural pronunciation. I am going to say each sentence 3 times, and I want you to repeat it out loud. And you can do this exercise as frequently as you'd like. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. Cut her some slack, she's a newbie. Give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. Give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. Give me 20 to whip up some appies for the party. She's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. She's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. She's got some nerve sauntering in 30 minutes late. I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. I gotta hand it to you. I didn't think you'd pull it off. I've gotta have a little me time. I've gotta have a little me time. I've gotta have a little me time. So did you enjoy this lesson? Would you like me to make more listening exercises just like this? If so, put yes in the comments below so I know you enjoyed this lesson. And make sure you get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can download it from my website right here, or you can look for the link in the description. And why don't you get started with your next lesson right now?